What's going on? Welcome to QVO Games. My name is Juan. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much. This video is going to be about the games coming to retail the week of February 18th. We have a great lineup of games, and I'm excited to talk about some expansions as well. Expansions are some really big hit games from last year that are really popular. Let's jump right in and let's make this a short video. Let's start off by saying, please keep in mind, I am covering the games coming to retail in the US. Also keep in mind, if a game's retail release date changes, I'll make sure to update you about that change in its new respective video. Let's keep going. First things first, coming out February 21st is going to be Knarr by Pandasaurus Games. Interesting little game, actually, from Pandasaurus. Knarr is going to be based off like Vikings and such, and they try really hard to use all the different like correct phrases they use in like the Viking world, right? And I am not educated anyway in that sort and that in any of that jargon in any way, shape, or form. So I'm gonna try my best to pronounce the words as they come by. But in Knarr, you're going to be recruiting different Vikings for your crew, and as you recruit different Vikings, you're gonna be placing them down in your crew after you draft them, put them down, and they're gonna have different effects and such. You're gonna have to be able to put them on different locations, explore the locations. You're gonna have different effects to activate, and your goal is to get to 40 victory points, and that activates the ends of the current round. That's gonna activate the end game, and the current round ends and such. Players with the most point wins. Pretty straightforward. There is a lot of content, it looks like, and reviews for the game. It looks pretty interesting. It looks very straightforward and interesting. There's a couple mechanics I thought were really cool, but I have to really play it for myself to get a good opinion. I'm not sure, but so far I like what Pandasaurus is doing. They've had a lot of great games, and I love the art direction they take with a lot of their games. They all look gorgeous, and I really like that and appreciate that. This is Knarr, coming out on February 21st by Pandasaurus Games. Moving on to an expansion by Red Raven is Sleeping Gods Distant Skies. This game was on crowdfunding recently, and now it is going to be coming out to you in retail. Sleeping Gods is going to be a storybook campaign game, and it has dungeons, it has monsters, it has leveling up. Pretty standard, straightforward, like a campaign style game. In Distant Skies, however, you're going to end up adding in some new stories, some new monsters, some new encounters and such. It just adds into the original Sleeping Gods game. So if you didn't have enough Sleeping Gods, now you have more. This is by Ryan Lockett. I have a bunch of Ryan Lockett's games actually in my collection that I have yet to play. So I'm really excited to play them first before I even jump into Sleeping Gods whenever I can obtain a copy. But I usually love these campaign style games. I love campaign stories, cooperative games like this. So, and I love and if it has a great story, which a lot of people have said it does, I'm excited to try it out for myself. It looks pretty cool. We'll see how this goes. Just keep in mind, you do need the Sleeping Gods base game. This is Sleeping Gods Distant Skies, coming out to you on February 21st by Red Raven Games. Coming up next, coming out to you on February 21st, is going to be Unmatched Suns Origins. And Unmatched is a dueling card game. Really cool, a really cool dueling system too. I really enjoy this game. I think it's a fun game. The only thing is, I think it works better either at 2 or 4 players, not 3, because the whole thing about games like this, you can just pick, like, kind of like Kingmaker, I guess, and just jump on one player and then the other player. Like, it's just I don't appreciate that. Like the fact that you can just focus on one player and like the fun's over and that player's out. It's just how it happens usually. There's always going to be one person who's being picked on in those style of games. Let me keep going here. Sun's Origin just adds some new characters to the Unmatched system. It adds the 2 legendary fighters from Japan, Battle Oda Nobunaga, and then Tomoe Gozen. I am apologizing if I say that entirely wrong. Oda Nobunaga and Tomoe Ozen. Pretty cool stuff. Like it's just different characters, new things to play, and I like the fact that they're kind of still they're like kind of varying a little bit away from the Marvel stuff. I love Marvel myself, but this kind of just keeps everyone else who's not really big on superheroes going with the IP, with the Unmatched, right? With Unmatched, and I think that's cool. Like I said, dueling card game, battle arena style game. I enjoy it. Better at 2, better at 4. Not 3. Unfortunately, I don't like it at 3 players. This is just going to add some more. This is going to be played. It can be played within itself. Like you can just have this and just play 2 players, or you can add in every other expansion or use other characters from other expansions of Unmatched. Unmatched Suns Origins coming out to you on February 21st by Restoration Games. Moving on to the Vale of Eternity, coming out to you on February 21st by Renegade Games. Sorry, February 22nd. My apologies. This is coming out to you on February 22nd. Interesting game. It does have a Dice Tower seal of approval, which is real seal of excellence. And okay, so it looks pretty straightforward. And from what I read about it, you're going to be drafting, set collecting, some hand management, activating effects from cards you draft. That's pretty much the gist of it. It doesn't really ring like it's like like it doesn't ring like it's very much different. It just looks like the table setup and like the way it looks on the table looks a little different. That's coming out from this picture here. And that's really the gist of it. You're going to be going around and there's different characters, of course, and different animals actually on the cards, and you're going to be seeing different ones because there's a variety of cards, and each time you play, you're not going to see the same few cards every time. So that's kind of your vary of play every time you play the game. That's kind of really it. You are going to be taming, hunting, and trading as well as selling a little bit in the market to try to get the most points possible. And that includes set collecting, that includes going activating specific effects to help you out do what you're doing. And that's pretty much it. Games like these, there's just so many, so it's really hard to pinpoint and say like, if this one's going to be a good one. Dice Tower did give it a seal of excellence, right? So that's something to really keep in mind when you're looking to shop for this game. This is going to be the Vale of Eternity coming out to you on February 22nd by Renegade Games. Moving on to Heat expansion, Heat Heavy Rain, the expansion by Days of Wonder, coming out on February 23rd. This is one of the games that like last year was like a really huge hit. I will admit this is probably one of my, if not one, but second, it's either first or second, depending next to a different game, of being like one of my favorite racing games. It's a really, really good game. It's really well done. In Heat, just a quick overview about it. In Heat, you're going to be racing your car, of course, and you're trying to be the first one to finish. However, keep it in mind, as you're going, you have a little bit like a push your luck kind of thing going on, and you're going to try to make sure your car doesn't overheat. And as well as has some really cool like driving mechanics involved with that, which I think are really neat and unique to like a lot of games. It's really, really well done. The Heavy Rain expansion, the Heat Heavy Rain expansion, is going to add 2 new racing tracks with a couple of new mechanics like treacherous waters and puddles, and there's torrential rain going on, so you have to maneuver that, and sometimes they stop you from going. They keep you from stopping, so you gotta be careful about that. But it also adds another card to your upgrades, or it's like an air intake to help you maneuver these new mechanical challenges, right? And also adds a new track in Mexico, and that one's supposed to be like for veteran drivers or more experienced drivers. So it adds a little more of a difficult of a track to kind of maneuver around. Pretty cool stuff. And that's like I said, it's a really, really good racing game. I have not gotten a copy myself. I've only played other people's copies. And I like it. It's actually a really good game. This is going to be an expansion. Keep that in mind. And you have to buy the base game before you buy this one to have it all work together. And the base game looks like this. It's here at the bottom. And I'll just bring it up real quick for you. And it's the thing about this game, too, it's also really hard to find at the moment. So I'm hoping this kind of comes back out. It looks like this. Look for this. And you're going to be able to get this and the expansion. The expansion itself, like I said, it adds some new stuff if you're done with your original Heat game. Pretty cool. Some new mechanics as well. Heat Heavy Rain expansion coming out to you on February 23rd by Days of Wonder. We're at the end of the video. Thank you for sticking around. This is going to be a really short video. There isn't really much to talk about. These games all seem pretty straightforward, and I didn't have a really big list this time around. However, I want to keep most videos short so you can get your update, know what you're buying this week, or keep informed of what games come out to retail this week, so you know if you're going to buy a game or not. And that's kind of the gist of it. I'm trying to keep these videos nice, short, concise, with enough descriptions that it gives you enough value to come back and watch the videos. Thank you for watching the video. If you made it this far, drop a comment down below. Let me know what game you're going to buy. Is it going to be one of these expansions, one of these games that I mentioned today, or maybe you've been saving up money to buy a game maybe you've been saving up money to buy a different game. And I want to know what game that is. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it, and have a good one.